Got a Snapchat, y'all. What up? Everybody say, hello, this is a talk about social media. You say something stupid. What? Yeah, okay. That's what we like. So anyhow, my name is Benjamin Champagne. I am from the Counterculture Arts Collective in Saginaw, Michigan. I'm a former student at SVSU. I actually grew up right nearby in the woods, and that is why I am so fascinated with this thing. Have you seen this thing? I grew up, no, I'm kidding. But I did try to ride my skateboard down that long ramp at the Rider Center when I was really young and ollie all those steps, and that's how I got this butt chin. That's not science. Okay, so what I want to talk to you today is about memes and stuff. This has revolutionized my life. I spent a lot of time wasting time. And at the end of all of that, I realized that none of that time could be wasted, and I'd like to share a little bit of that with you. Now, before I begin, a little bit about myself. 2 years ago, we started Counterculture Arts Collective, and 1 year ago, my partner Curtis Dalton and I won Saginawian of the Year. And so we're just a couple young punks. I had to ask myself, how did I get in this position? In a way, it wasn't because I was the most experienced. It certainly wasn't because I was the most qualified, but rather it was because I had the willingness. You see, we saw a void in our community, and we stepped up and decided to fill that void. Now, you might be asking, what is an arts collective? An arts collective, as we designed it, is a place in which musicians, writers, filmmakers can all meet, be inspired by each other's art, and go out and create more. We do concerts, we do poetry readings, film screenings, writing workshops, we've had yoga classes, we do sports card memorabilia shows, whatever. So the point is that memes are what revolutionized my life and what put me in this point. So I'd like to share this with you. Now, before we begin, I'm going to define memes for you. As Lamore Schiffman would put it, she says, memes are units of culture which spread from person to person by means of imitation or repetition. So imitation and repetition are key for this discussion on internet memes. A lot of you may have come across this term. There's a scientific study of it. Richard Dawkins is noted as being the person that coined the term memes, and he's talking about it in a little bit scientific manner, not quite the internet memes that we're used to looking at and scrolling on our phone. So let's take a look at one of these memes. Now, this meme, I didn't make you guys laugh. This is a funny meme, guys. Come on. Now, this meme isn't about Mondays at all. This meme is about stereotypes in a world full of desolation and poverty. You see, memes are potent. Memes have the ability to wake you up. Now, oftentimes they're full of irony and sarcasm, but what they're really doing is participating in convergence culture. Now, as you see here, we have this week's headline meets last week's trending topic, and we, the consumer, bring our ideas about the content to this meme. This is convergence culture. Now, this is the reality that we live in. Everything is influencing one another. You see, not everything is static, sitting by itself. Many of us participate in networks. We participate in the network. Now, these are social networks, but right here we're in the TED network. Oftentimes I participate in a genre of music. That's a network that I participate in. I write reviews for poetry. That's a network I participate in. When I go wait tables, that's a network that I participate in. This is a closer model of our reality. See, the old models focused on a narrative. Now, a narrative is the way that we used to get information, like a book, right? So a book has a beginning, has a middle, has an end. It progresses linearly, correct? So the real reality is that most information works in like a conversational tone. There's this, and then we add this, and then we add this. All of information works almost like the algorithms that we use every day. Now, most of us get our information from algorithms. See, we put it into Google, and that's based on popularity, the most recent contribution to the topic, and oftentimes it's even based on ad revenue, money. And this is a more accurate depiction of our reality. So memes are taking this reality and condensing it down to little tidbits. I'm really happy about some of the things we've already heard tonight because they're really definitely discussing this idea, the way that we process information and the way that we communicate. So when your grandmother tells you to put your phone away at dinner time, yeah, that might be respectful. You could put your phone away. Perhaps you could hold your phone under the table and get a few memes in really quick, or you could put a dog filter on your Snapchat and send it to your little brother. across the table because that's exactly what she's worried about, that very powerful things are happening without her knowledge. And this is what is happening. You see, communication has changed a lot through the course of human history, and it will continue to change. In 1440, the printing press was invented, and this is what we've hailed as the most important invention of all time. Now, I can argue that phones are that for us. It is the printing press took power away from the church. The church controlled all the flow of information. You see, if you couldn't read Latin, chances are you couldn't read at all because the church transcribed everything in Latin. So when the printing press was invented, it took this power and put it in groups, organizations, in people's hands, and they were able to disseminate information at their choosing. This allowed languages to spread. And just the same, communication is being radicalized right now. Very soon, I'm going to be just a robot. I'll just be learning from robots, as we've learned tonight. And I believe that, actually, because one of my favorite jokes to say is when Google can get in my head, sign me up. You know what I mean? As soon as I can search there, so I can see communication will eventually almost be telepathic. You know, TED Talks will just be beamed to you while you're on your couch. And this is a great reason to take heart. So memes can wake you up. These memes contain everything that you need to know to wake yourself up. Now, why is it that in this oversaturated age, we feel like this, right? In a world full of possibility, there's no way to know the right answer. How do I fact check? How do I cite? How can I sort through this age of information? It produces a lot of anxiety. Now, myself, I felt like this quote for many years. Most of my 20s I spent on the sidelines. I've kind of always felt like a jack of all trades, master of none. You see, I'm really not the best at anything, but I like to do a lot of things. So for probably a decade plus, I just sat there on my couch scrolling. I would go to shows. I would hang out with people. I went here. I did a lot of things, but really I didn't do anything. And so once I began to do things, I realized that I actually was doing something all of that time. I was taking in information. I was learning a new language. This is what I would tell my grandmother while I'm scrolling at memes. I'm participating in the digital literacy of our times. You see, that's probably the reason that the older generation gets a little upset at us is they can't handle the new technology, the way that language is shifting, the way that communication is changing. The thing about this new communication and technology is it oftentimes has a very potent content, and probably the greatest meme ever created isn't a meme at all. See, this was an advertisement, and this revolutionized all of advertising after it. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Nike per se, but this slogan is simple. 2 colors, 3 words, just do it. This simplicity allows the content to cut through. So a few slides back, when we felt like that guy in the burning house going, yeah, okay, I'm going to be all right, this becomes the solution. All of information has taken this shape ever since. We've been refining information. And so I argue that as we are participating in social networks, we are actually learning this. So it makes me wonder, is there any such thing as wasted time at all? I argue that there is not. You see, some of you are college students in here, and you probably have a great homework assignment on the horizon. And instead, you're just sitting there scrolling on Instagram. Oh, that looks cute. Oh, this is nice. You know, and you're just liking pictures. And you think that you're wasting time. But in fact, you're leaving your brain open to new possibilities, to new ideas. You're actually giving yourself the space to think creatively. And when you come back to that project, there's an added chance that you'll have new information and a vigor. So I don't believe that you can waste time at all. And this is what has radicalized my life. You see, everything I do is profitable to me. Even when I'm just hanging out, you know, in my undies, whatever, on the couch, it's profitable for me because I see the utility in it. And certainly, scrolling the internet infinitely, trolling social media, holding myself up in a room with the blinds closed and the door shut until my parents are disappointed and girlfriends are sad has been okay for me. It's been okay. So when you're wasting time, remember that it's actually really good for you and that the outcome will probably benefit you. Now, the time that I actually realized this, because it took a long time, we had won the award before I realized, like, what the heck? How, I'm just some dude, you know what I'm saying? How did I get to this point? And it was right about the time that this came out. This is probably my favorite video of all time.
Just do it!
We'll let Shia do his thing.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
Right? Now, if I could show this video 15 times, I probably would have done that. And that's kind of what I had in mind, because I love this video so much. But I believe that Shia created this in a state of flow. Now, a few of you may be familiar with this phrase, workflow. Workflow is an idea that we get from musicians, at least in my area, when you're just kind of jamming on your instruments, and it comes together. Now, Shia stood in front of a green screen for over 30 minutes. There were actually multiple characters and personas that probably many of us laughed out of recognition. We know this video, we love this video, but we don't know all those other ones. You see, he got in the zone while he was creating this. He did it over and over. He tried on lots of things, didn't work, and this is the one that worked. You can see it carries all the characteristics of a meme, even though it's a viral video. It's simple, 2 colors. The content is strong and urgent. The information is easily consumable. It's been repeated, imitated many times. It's been shared. You can watch parody videos all over. And that's because he was in this state of flow. This flow is from a Chinese philosophy called Taoism, Wei Wu Wei, action without action. So action without action is a state of doing without thinking. It's like being one with a thing in which you are doing. And the greatest thing is you think, where am I doing that in my life? Each and every one of us are doing that while we're on our phone. We're just kind of scrolling, oh, that's nice. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, let me troll this. Ooh, let me comment here. It's a state of flow. Now, this isn't very profitable. If you're just sitting on your couch and you're in this flow state, or some of us are just passively consuming and kind of mindlessly doing it, almost like a state of drunkenness. But if you achieve that flow state and you bring an active mind to what you're looking at, you can actually harness that flow and take it to the goals that you're setting for yourself. So I had realized over a decade that all of that stuff that I was consuming was actually for my benefit. I had learned this DIY culture, do it yourself. All of this is user-generated. And this is why the internet, and this is why that piece of great equipment in your phone is so important. It's all made by people just like you and I. So when I was sitting on the sideline all those years, I thought, how do you get there? How do you get to the place that I want to be? How do you become a mastery of something? And I learned that nobody does. Everybody is just doing and failing and doing over and over, a lot like memes. They're very constant. They will never end. There's no way you could consume every meme that's going to occur. And this is how you achieve that state of flow. Through simplicity. We'll get to our conclusion here. Memes are just the vehicle. Now, you could actually use this concept for anything in your life. I really feel like I probably could have used this for anything, but I chose memes because I know that we're all involved in that. And it's to wake you up to self. I believe that all of us have a vision for the world, a vision for ourselves in our heart, and something that we want to do, and there are obstacles to that. So when we look at all this user-generated content and see that it's a DIY culture that we're living in, that information has changed, and that all is simple, we're able to kind of self-actualize and realize our full potential. So the abundance principle is doing over and over. I don't think it's anti-intellectual. I think it's quite the opposite. It's a lot like a math equation. We start with this complex equation, and we reduce until we have the most elegant expression. And memes are the most elegant expression. So I challenge you to flip your thinking upside down. When you're scrolling next time, remember to have an active mind. Remember that memes are the vehicle that can wake you up to your true self. They're talking about our reality as it exists now in its truest form. And what I'd like you to do is, between me and you, pull your phone out, between me and the next guy, pull your phone out, Snapchat, Put your favorite filter on there. You can put me on there. Space swap with me, whatever. Thanks a lot, guys. All right. Yeah.